Well, today I'm actually doing some big stitch quilting on a quilt that I've had for some time, and it was machine quilted for me. And while I like most of the work, I don't like all of it. So I'm taking any of it that I'm not fond of, and I'm replacing it with hand stitches like this, that are very evident to the eye. So this is called big stitch quilting. So I'll be taking out the machine quilting, that small line, and replacing it with a line of big stitch. So it's kind of busy work, to tell you the truth. This quilt has been made for a while. It appeared in a magazine called Fresh Quilts back in 2014. But I've always meant to get back to this work. So this morning, sitting here with you, I can fiddle around and do it. So that's what I'm working on this minute. What I'm working on at home with Peppered Cottons is a series of quilts that involve pinwheels, because sometimes people think they're hard, and there's an old method for making them that I think will make it easier for people. So the next quilts up on the wall are pinwheels. But then again, I've never forgotten the Drunkard's Path pattern, and I will probably do many more of those. This quilt is by Whimsical Workshop by Heidi Pridemore, and it was with Peppered Cottons, and this was several years ago. There are a few of the colors that are not still in the line. These lovely little pastels, they're not as eye-catching as the brilliant colors, but I think they do a beautiful job here on the border, and gives it a very modern look. So in between the appliqued vines, there's this little snaky bit of machine quilting. See this, it's little vines, and it goes in and out like that. So I think it adds some grace to a sort of an angular design. One, I love schoolhouses, which are the events that are the day before Quilt Market. They could be as short as 15 minutes or 30 minutes long. And like the name schoolhouse implies, you should be learning something new. So when shop owners come to schoolhouses, they learn new techniques, they learn how to be better shop owners, and then they'll see new lines as well. But it's like you get a college education in one day, boom, in quilting. It can be a little overwhelming for some people. So I always tell people, take pictures, take notes. I can talk first about the new designer, because I just had this conversation on Facebook. Someone who does beautiful quilt patterns emailed me in frustration because the line of prints that she had done her sample quilt in was already out of production. So I would say that when you do a quilt pattern, if you can choose a line of fabrics that you know is going to be in production for longer than a couple of years, don't feel afraid to contact the fabric company directly and go straight to the top. Don't talk to your rep. They don't know what's going to be, still in stock. Go right to the owner of the company and say, do you plan on running this line of prints again? If that's not the case, no matter how much you love the prints, take that quilt you're working on and put it on the inside of the pattern as one of the variations. On the outside of the pattern, choose a line of fabrics that you know is going to be around. And I've got to boast about that. Peppered Cottons, this line of shot cottons, over 52 colors. This is now our 10th year here. So we're a decade old, and we can help a designer get their point across, and yet it can be in fabrics that the new person who's looking for advice, they can find those because they're out there all over. So for designers, I would say reserve for the inside of the fold things that are made with pattern fabrics, because they may not be there in a year. I got into sewing at first because I didn't have the money to buy the things I liked. That was a while ago. I was a very poor college student. I didn't own a sewing machine. And then when I found out that you could make quilts by hand, I was delighted. See, for me, that meant there was an entryway into this craft. So whether you choose to sew by hand or machine, don't set conditions on yourself. You don't need to go out and purchase a sewing machine that costs $1,000 in order to do this. Start small, start achievable, and always work with fabrics you like. Because if somebody comes to you and says, would you please make me placemats in orange and gold, and you hate those colors, can you politely disengage yourself from that? If you're looking to develop your hobby, work with colors and fabrics you like and do achievable things. I always tell people 20 pillows is a quilt. 4 baby quilts is a quilt. You get the math here. Everybody can persist in making a bed-sized quilt, but do the small things first.